So I'm actually going to start this video by saying why Max Verstappen can win the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Two fairly big points. One is that the team around Max, his three co-drivers, Danny Hunkerdaya, Lucas Hauer and Jules Gounon, along with the Winward Racing squad, are tip-top on the quality front. Fast, and with loads of experience of the Mercedes GT3 platform. And point two, it's Max Verstappen. Love him or hate him, his raw talent behind the wheel of a racing machine is one of the best this sport has seen. However, with one of motorsport's biggest superstars heading to a racing discipline and race event that will have a lot of new eyeballs on it, there's probably going to be a reasonable proportion of those people who think that because Max is a 4-time F1 champion, or even just being an F1 driver, that coming to an event that might be perceived as being less prestigious, or lower down the racing echelon pecking order than F1, then Max will find this a walk in the park. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of people, particularly with a deep knowledge and passion for sports car racing, who have a more cautioned perspective when it comes to Max's winning prospects. It wouldn't be a complete and total shock if the 3-car did get the victory, but it would be hugely impressive, especially on Max's 24-hour debut. But the reality is, it is going to be very difficult. Firstly, the endurance aspect is on a scale that Max has not experienced yet. He's done sim racing stints for 24-hour races, including at absurdly early hours of a morning. However, that's not going to sufficiently prepare him for the first outing of a real-life, round-the-clock event. The 4-hour races he's done so far give him a taste of what it's like, but nothing can properly prepare you for it unless you've done multiple 24-hour races, which, luckily for him, Lucas, Jules and Danny have done loads of. However, there's only so much that words, sim racing prep and track time can do for you for a debut. Plus, there's one thing that Max has not had any real life experience of, at least in a racing situation: driving the Nordschleife in the dark. Again, sim prep gives a bit of an idea, but nowhere near the full picture. It's not necessarily driving around the track at night that'll be the challenging part for Max, even though that in itself is very daunting whoever you are. But it's actually the navigating of traffic that'll be the hardest part. Visibility around the track is like nothing he'd have encountered before. Seeing where cars will come from, how to navigate through them efficiently, is going to be a huge challenge. Hence why when Max had the opportunity to do the Nürburgring qualifying races, particularly the first one, which ends in the dark, he wanted to participate. However, due to the horrendous circumstances involving Juha Miettinen, the race was rightly abandoned before darkness had fallen. Max may get an opportunity during one of the 24 hours qualifying sessions to drive the track at night, but again, it may not be for a hugely long time. Then there's the Nordschleife's unpredictable weather, which is possibly the most difficult to judge in all of motor racing. Of course, this track's huge length is what contributes to the challenge, whatever the conditions. Through how one part of the circuit can be bone dry and then another part be too difficult to navigate on wet tyres on the same lap. Plus, if you do make the wrong call on tyres, assuming you just go around the circuit with the most extreme of caution, a lap on the wrong tyres could cost you several minutes, which even in a 24-hour race, with a field as competitive as it is, can make a massive difference to where you finish at the end of it. Once you head out on the Nordschleife part of the lap, and get it wrong, it's nearly 13 miles of track where you could lose a lot of time. The thing about this though, is that it's extremely difficult to get right. It can come from out of nowhere. There have been several occasions where isolated heavy rain has caused mayhem on this track. It may not happen in this race, but if it does happen, things will most likely be thrown wide open. That, however, is something that admittedly could impact anybody in that race. But in terms of everybody else, well, the competition is going to be absolutely stacked. Teams will be factory driver aplenty in their lineups, with some of them having to focus on other commitments that didn't allow them to take part in the NLS events Max was able to do. I'm not saying that in the events Max did do, that he had no proper opposition. Of course he had. Him versus Christopher Haase is a rivalry I didn't expect to ever be a thing, yet I'm so glad that it is, because those two drivers have given us huge amounts of entertainment with their battling this year. For the 24 hours though, you'd imagine that more rivalries may occur between that number 3 car and some of their competitors. That's also not to mention some of the other factors that can affect any car in the field. The timing of code 60s and how much time you may lose, as given the nature of the lap, it's entirely possible that you might have to slow down for a code 60 more than another driver, just through luck. Then there's also mechanical issues. Just one of the inevitable things that happens in endurance racing, that can happen at any time. Indeed, something that Max has had happen to him in the most recent NLS race, even if it was just precautionary. Then, operational errors are also an unsurprising thing that can happen even to the most veteran of teams, particularly in a 24-hour race. Basically what I'm trying to say is that if anybody thinks that this is going to be a straightforward win for the 3 car, well, that just isn't going to happen. Will they be contenders for victory? Absolutely. The drivers have the talent, and 3/4 of those have the endurance experience to come with it, and the team absolutely has the experience, and knows how to set up a fast Mercedes-AMG GT3. But it will not be a walk in the park for them. Watch them walk in now I've said that. However, what do you think the prospects are for that 3 car? Are Danny, Lucas, Jules and Max going to win? Or do you think they have no chance, or get the full wrath of Christopher Haase? Say down in the comment section below. Also, if you did enjoy this video, then I'd be enormously appreciative if you did hit the like and subscribe buttons. That though, is going to be it for this video, so thank you ever so much for watching. And until the next video, be kind to each other and enjoy the rest of your day.